The man, the machine, the legend, INnoVation has been one of the best players of StarCraft 2 since he made his debut, joining with all of the other Kespa players not too far long ago, doesn't feel like, right? These guys, we still kind of talk to them. There was a period of time where it was the Kespa players versus the Koreans that were initially in the game, but boy, oh boy, INnoVation was one of the ones that went straight to the top when he joined. He's starting to be regarded more and more as the best StarCraft 2 player ever, and I feel like he's still got a long career ahead of him as well. Like if we look at his earnings, 450,000, he's not too far behind MC, who's above 500,000. If he makes a grand finals here, he will completely get ahead. If he wins, he will pass the 700,000 bar. Not too bad, I think, for a player, you know, like this that didn't start to play StarCraft 2 from the very start of the game.
He's definitely very good. I mean, this guy had the regimen of the Kespa training down, and then felt like it never really faded. But he actually adapted very well when Kespa disbanded. You know, he was on a team for so long, yet he still kept up the practice. He still kept up the results. And now he's here, and yeah, Ballistics, picked him up, but only at the end of the year. You know, he's been good without it. The dude's got insane work ethic, Pig. He just does not stop.
He doesn't, man. You know, he had a reputation in the early days of Heart of the Swarm as the guy who got a lot of success because of Hellbats, right? He was like, there's this unit, it was very powerful. He happened to be very good, but he was destroying everybody because of, a little bit of something powerful that his race had in special. I mean, since then, he evolved, he's made it to so many championships, he's won so many tournaments, and he's done it over a several-year span. And I think this year especially, though, he's taken it to the next level. We talk about him as a machine, we make these jokes because he's got this controlled surface. He doesn't let his emotions out very much. He doesn't really lose control in these matches. But this year, he's actually redefined his play. He's come out, he's started throwing in a big variety of his build orders. He's doing these very unorthodox things to throw off his opponents. So you've got this guy who is the mechanical god. He doesn't get phased. He always brings his A game onto the stage. But now he's also throwing his opponents off their game. He's rushing people. He's using proxies. Just really cool to see.
INnoVation stands out, especially this year with the growth of different Terran strategies, is becoming quite a bit more versatile. We've seen him do everything from two-port Banshee to just straight-up cheese, and I think it's such a really cool thing to see a player like this dynamically evolve. You guys talking about the crazy strategies we did at the beginning of Heart of the Swarm. The only time he had a nickname other than the Machine, we called him like the Hell Batman or something like that. All he would do is just make it rain on the other Terrans pretty much every single game.
And make no mistake about it, he's going to this tournament really confident despite showing that he had a little bit of a hard time in the groups. I heard this story actually that I find really funny. Some of the Korean players and Roddy, they were placing some bets, and after losing one of them, INnoVation says something in Korean, which everybody laughed at, and Roddy was like, what did he say? And INnoVation was like, this is peanuts. I'm about to win $280,000 this weekend. So he seems very confident, and I think it's going to show in his games here, definitely. I think he's the heavy favorite going into this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, we all expect him to be a good player. Coming into opening weekend, though, I mean, we had what seemed to be a pretty easy matchup for him, facing off against True, who is known as, playing in the circuit, but a pretty one-dimensional player, very aggressive, very easy to read. And he had a little bit of difficulty dealing with that, Pig.
Yeah, he came into that match. A lot of people were almost dismissive of True's chances. True, a very aggressive player, though. He really brought the fight to INnoVation, found some chinks in his armor, and I kind of feel like INnoVation warmed up after that match, and he just kind of went into full overdrive. He scraped through that initial match with a 2-1, and then we saw him absolutely smash it.
But TY, of course, on the other side, is a player that is definitely known for his smart strategies, his good builds. When you think about how he approached a player like True, there was a very high-level match, I think, like last year. He had an amazing Blue Flame Hellion, but he's like, I thought it all out, I figured it out. We know TY is a very smart player, Zombie Grub.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely a smart player, very tactical, positional player as well, which usually you would say does very well for TVT, the matchup coming up right now. But the last time he faced INnoVation in an offline setting, it was a huge offline setting. He got absolutely crushed. It didn't matter that his tactical advantages would work out. And then most recently, he went against Special, who's obviously very good at BlizzCon, but that TVT didn't go so well for TY either.
I want to believe in TY, and he's been very successful this year. We keep talking about all the money that he's earned already, but talking to Special earlier, he was simply telling me INnoVation is just too goes-to right now, and for TY to win here is going to be extremely hard, but we know he's capable of playing really well when it matters the most, and he has this year, so who knows.
I feel like when we look at the Terran players coming into this tournament, you had Special, who was the oddball, right? He's the foreigner. We know that he practices with the Koreans. We know he learns from them. Gumiho is on one side of the spectrum, very crazy with his strategies, always doing these weird builds. INnoVation on the other side, we see him as very mechanics focused. But TY, he was the balance, and it's time to find out if he can tip the scales in his favor. Our match, our final quarterfinal of the day is ready. On the stage, it's TY versus INnoVation. I was like trying to lead that into a question, and then like halfway through that sentence, he's like, "Okay, go to stage
For
now."
our first player,
Like,
he is a three-time
that's cool. I was
GSL
ready
champion
to pick it
and
up, and I was like,
GSL
oh, no,
versus
that's
the world
cool. He's
champion. Please welcome on stage, it is INnoVation. Facing INnoVation is the WESG and IEM Katowice champion. He's looking to make top 4 at the WCS Global Finals for the very first time. Give it up for TY. Ro currently sits in the semifinal, and he's waiting his opponent. Which Terran will move on to face him? Maynard and InControl, take it away.
All right, let's find out. Maynard in control here for TVT time. Our last quarterfinal of the day, but this one promised to be a cracker. InControl, initial thoughts on this series?
It's an interesting one. They talked a lot about INnoVation being one of the most on fire and best players of this tournament. That's certainly kind of a possibility. TY is one of those players for me who, so far at WCS Finals, we haven't seen, I think, what has gotten him here, which is the ability to hit that high gear of just like God tier play. And he's gonna need to do that. I love what Todd was saying too. He's like, hey, how do you feel about your match against INnoVation? He's like, oh yeah, he's too good. I stand no chance whatsoever.
I mean, TY's TVT was brought up, briefly by ZombieGrow and a couple of guys at the couch there. That it's been looking a little bit shaky lately, even in the online tournaments, but more specifically and more relevantly here in this tournament for opening week. He kind of, like his series against Special wasn't close. Special outplayed him in pretty much every single way. There were a couple nice moves for TY, but Special in the end outplayed him. And I feel like when you're coming up against INnoVation, who is, people use his name synonymously with StarCraft 2, he's thought to be the best player in the whole game, in the history of the game, perhaps.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we only have these this last weekend to go off of in terms of what these guys look like right now. And I feel like that's kind of the special element of BlizzCon, is that these guys have played for championships. They've played in front of crowds. So I don't think it's necessarily that. But the entire year is defined by this tournament. Did you qualify for it? Are you fighting for life-changing money? I mean, I love hearing that quote from INnoVation where he's like, dude, I'm gonna be winning $280,000 I don't care about right now. So this is a long-winded way of saying, yes, they've looked mortal, they've tripped up a little bit, but it's now. He needs to win this best of 5, and if he really turns it on, which he can, he's had a few days to work on it, man, can he do some good stuff.
Absolutely agree with you, but it is time to get into the game. At the bottom right here, representing Ballistics, make some noise for INnoVation! And in the top left, from Spice, this is TY!
And we're going to kick things off on Ascension Ire, one of the bigger maps here, kind of give it a little bit of a spread across for these two players, and really feel it out. INnoVation's not one to necessarily put the game on a singular attack. He doesn't want to really risk that kind of thing. I think the longer the game goes, he really should feel like the more and more he's going to be able to kind of gain momentum and be further ahead, whereas TY, obviously mechanically very strong as well, is capable of mixing it up a little bit. We do see some timing attacks from him. We do see some kind of cheeky pushes. I wouldn't define him that way, but I'd say he's the one that could end up dictating the pace here.
Yeah, I mean, he's the kind of player that also can be scary when he hits his stride. He's not afraid to get up to the 80 or 90 even SCV mark, even in TVT, which is generally not what you want to be, because you want a lot of that to be army supply. You want it to be Marines, siege tanks, or mech units, if that's the style you're planning to go down through. But both these players are going for the same opening here, exactly mirrored, with this slight difference just coming up now with the Marine opener for TY, INnoVation just going Reaper expand.
Yeah, complete lack of wall in here does mean INnoVation's going to pop in there and get that scout, but as you said, Maynard, not a whole lot to see. It's actually kind of nice to be able to confirm a standard opening. Like sometimes when you pop in there and the barracks is missing, there's that like butterfly moment of, oh, okay, we are going to go there. And it's not that they haven't faced that, it's just that a lot of times players like to have that game where they kind of get the butterflies out, feel it out. I want a nice 25-minute game of stuff, calm down, because this match, I mean, in the Signature Series for TY, talks a lot about like, hey, if I win BlizzCon, I might retire, not out of like sadness, but out of like, I've done everything I can. That's how big this is for these guys.
It is, and it's interesting what he thought that felt like as well to retire without winning a BlizzCon. But we have a Marine just moving out in an odd path here from TY, sort of trying to circumnavigate the middle of the map. He knows a Reaper expand is happening here for, or at least can feel that a Reaper expand is on the way here for INnoVation. So he's trying to avoid it and get into the natural by the looks of things. A little bit strange, but we have first Reaper here from INnoVation with the second one on the way. Got to harass this SCV and delay the CC.
It's a big deal. The SCV kill obviously is a huge deal in and of itself, but just go ahead and delaying that natural has its impact as well. Ooh. And that Marine actually does get in and kind of chips in on some damage, giving the advantage to TY's Reaper here. It's actually kind of funny how like almost blasé Terran openings are, because there's actually a tremendous amount of lethality going on. This SCV will die as well, so a little bit of tit for tat. But all of a sudden a couple of Cyclones, some Hellions get mixed in there, and things can snowball. So while it does look normal, a lot of the game's being decided right now.
Well, something not very normal right now is INnoVation's being insanely greedy, getting a third command center in the main base as well. Wow, doesn't even like have a factory yet. He's making these barracks now to get that Marine production down. But I mean, TY is sort of going the more quote-unquote sensible path, going the 1-1-1 path, getting his Cyclone out for early game protection, possibly even counterattack damage, and a starport as well to round things out. But INnoVation is being quite unorthodox here.
I like it too, and I want to even go back to something that I heard Pig and Total Biscuit talk about in their broadcast. There's like the term gentleman's agreement. It just kind of means like, generally speaking, this is 7 or 8 times out of 10 what we're going to do in a TVT. INnoVation's breaking that mold a little bit here, and in the first game of a best of 5. This speaks to me of confidence, but this also can throw TY for a loop. If he doesn't pick up on this too terribly soon with like a soft push from this force right here, he can get into a really tough spot, because that orbital, the longer it goes, the more it pays for itself, obviously. The slight tech advantage for TY would be where he'd get some kind of leeway his own way, but if he doesn't, man, he can fall behind quick.
And even if he doesn't float that third CC, over there at the very beginning of the game, he can just make 3 SCVs at a time and triple Mule and triple Scan if he needs to as well. The INnoVation's 2 Reapers trying to see what he can pick off from TY, but we know with our Caster God Cams that we have a push through the middle of the map here. TY bringing a Cyclone along and also boosting a Medevac along for help. So this could be a moment, a little bit of a dangerous moment here for INnoVation.
Yep. And that scan, though, is going to give him a fighting chance. He's going to be able to see that. Even a little counterattack here from these Reapers, that's going to be annoying. Immediately, the SCVs are pulled. They're going to try to get back up there, but keep in mind, it's not walled in. Just normal units coming out here. There is going to be a little bit of a pushback from the Marines on the right side as well.
Yeah, so many barracks that his Marine production is actually quite nice, and he's able to actually pick this fight for the most part. I don't know if that's enough here from TY. SCV's also getting pulled off the line just for safety here for INnoVation. The Medevac's going to be very, very annoying. 2 Cyclones with Medevac support. Will it be enough? Oh, 1 Cyclone picked off. He's trying to boost in, pick up the other one, and he does, but INnoVation holds.
And both players are going to kind of stabilize in terms of SCV count. Obviously, the damage is slightly favorable for TY, but because of that faster third CC, it ends up evening out, even just a little bit of advantage for INnoVation. And kind of worth noting, too, Stim had not finished in that fight, so he had to step forward and do damage there. And TY wasn't really able to kite backwards, so he kind of lost a little bit more than maybe he should have.
Indeed. Losing a few Marines there from that Medevac does keep the Cyclone alive at least. We see INnoVation, obviously, with the faster barracks, multiple barracks here, has Stim quite a lot ahead of TY. So things like drops are going to be dangerous when that starport finishes. Try chasing down a boosted Medevac without Stim. It is not very easy.
Not fun.
No,
Maynard, I'm
really.
a little bit worried. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. There's a lot of Marines coming out for INnoVation. Stim is about to finish. Combat Shield is a pretty quick upgrade. He's got that reactor on the starport, so all of a sudden I'm looking at like 16, 20 Marines, and it's just kind of spread out production and even wounded production from TY. If he's not careful, a production drop here could be gigantic.
Yeah, I'm super worried about a drop when I see what INnoVation's going for here. Obviously, TY playing more regular TVT back at home, so these double upgrades. His third CC's been dropped on location. It's turned into an orbital. And INnoVation's going to look to reset the field here. Even if he can just get into the mineral line, it's going to be tough for TY to clean him up. And then even if he goes for a straight-on engagement, he doesn't have a siege tank count here. If INnoVation just faces him with medevac support and stim, and even combat shield, which is not going to take too long to finish, how do you beat that?
He can get ugly pretty quick here. That being said, though, TY has ramped up his productions 5 Marines at a time, and he's getting similar upgrades for himself as well. So there was a moment there where I was a little bit worried, but INnoVation, actually did spend that time to make a couple of missile turrets. He, like you said, just kind of stabilized and opted for that, which, you know, not to armchair quarterback this too much, but again, INnoVation is known for just like gargantuan macro mechanics in particular. The longer the game goes, I feel like the harder it is to kill him. You got to do something early.
And now TYC stim and combat shield is done for INnoVation. The Cyclone gives up the middle of the map, but will pay for its life. And he's heading to that third base. TY needs to get that siege tank now, right now, or he's going to be in trouble.
I love the Marine peeled forward to go ahead and scout out what's going on up there, but it is just that tank that really gives him the spear forward. It's actually losing a Viking. They're not the biggest of deals. It's not like that Viking represented the beginning of something super amazing, but obviously a free kill is a free kill. Now more medevacs are going to join that force, and those initial Marines, Maynard, had me a bit worried, but 4 medevacs full of just this kind of punch can get scary quick.
Indeed, and TY doesn't have a ton of protection in the main base. If he does want to drop back there with a couple tanks and a handful of Marines, could be very, very dangerous. TY's upgrades about to finish up here. He's going to have 1-1, so he will have he will have equal upgrades with INnoVation, which is nice. But obviously, combat shield not done yet, not too far off at least.
Yeah, and I love his map vision. You can see the sensor tower is spotting that third base, even a depot going up there to give him just a little bit more vision if a big doom drop is going up at the top of the map. And then his army, where's it at? Well, it knows it doesn't need to be around the sensor tower, so it's over here by the natural. Beautiful map positioning so far by TY, but I gotta tell you, the ghost of StarCraft past, Mr. Todd himself, look at the supply, and there hasn't really been any big engagement. It's that faster orbital and just INnoVation going to work. That could be a problem.
Yeah, a lot of it is bio production here for INnoVation with these factory units kicking in. I mean, TY's not that far down, and factory units and INnoVation's production has been stellar. TY stimming in here. Does have combat shield now, but it's to pull back. Now, TY is going to gear up for a 4th base shortly, but I got to commend, actually, both players are playing extremely well. This is a very close game so far. Obviously, once again, the Observer showing that the macro of INnoVation has been pretty immaculate.
Yep. And TY, of course, having his own cycle, so it's, you know, it's a constant advantage for INnoVation so far, but it's not so incredibly surmountable. We're going to have that big fight here. He's going to actually kind of go ahead and spread out, pushing TY back. TY's going to lose some tanks. He's going to lose a lot more than that if he stays here and fights, and he is. Oh, medevac doesn't quite go down, but there's going to be 2 Marines to tell the grisly tale.
Sometimes StarCraft is just as simple as that. There's just so many Marines here for INnoVation. Attack in the back is going to make this a little dicey, but he feels like he can keep engaging here, and it looks like he's correct. Coming up into that Marine line, another tank goes down.
I don't know why TY turned around and poked that bear, but he's going to pay the price for it. Another tank dies, as Maynard said here. He is going to get pushed back, and there's almost no room to run. If this fight keeps going southward like this for TY, he can lose a base.
INnoVation's Marines are linebackers. They just couldn't be stopped. They just keep barreling through tank lines and Marines of TY. And he has lost so many SCVs. He's on the precipice of losing this game. In fact, he has. GG! INnoVation takes a pretty convincing game 1 there. It looked a little closer in the early to mid game, but I mean, the steamroller, the machine just kicked into gear at that point.
That game is going to be a bit of a reality check for us. I kind of talked about this in the opening show, but I was worried that this could be just a smothering of a series, and you know, maybe that's a feel me out kind of opening game for TY, but he's going to have to do more than what we just saw. I mean, there was, you know, yeah, a faster third orbital, but that is one of the normal builds. It's not like an all-in or some crazy risk being taken. And INnoVation from there just flew past him. And TY, he took a fight that he was just like outgunned in, and that's okay, that happens, especially in TVT. But then to turn around and do it again, that speaks to me of someone that's a little bit flustered, not quite, you know, they're not grounded, they're not doing their best, and he's gonna have to do more. INnoVation is gonna be collecting peanuts on his way to the semifinals.
That's right. So gonna have to pull up his socks here as TY. The ball is in his court to show us why he is here on the stage. It's been a long time between drinks for Splice's TY. His big tournament wins were WESG and IM Katowice, which were like 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's 8 months in StarCraft 2 basically is forever. It's a ton of time.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I mean, he went into those tournaments and played the best and deservedly got those trophies. But then you go to BlizzCon where sometimes for some players, they're not necessarily in their hottest kind of moment. They're in their top form. You can practice as much as you want, but sometimes, I don't know, like the map's not clicking and the meta's just not going for you. I'm not saying that's what's going on for TY, but it is an interesting kind of case study that by the time you get to that championship, because StarCraft is such a grueling, difficult game all year long, sometimes you kind of start to doubt yourself. Well, TY does have that champion mentality, and he's going to have to pick himself up and put his socks on, like you said, or whatever it is you guys do.
Pull your socks up, yeah,
you
sorry.
pull the socks up?
You pull them up. That means you're ready for work.
All right. I mean, I stream for a living, so sometimes there's no socks involved. But these guys do have to wear socks, I understand it. TY, you got to bring more. You got to bring more. INnoVation made that look easy.
Yeah, he certainly did. That was not a close game, but I believe in the magic of TY to be able to at least get a map or two in this series, if not even channel the full magic of Anaheim and close it out against the tournament favorite. Speaking of, in the top left here, representing Ballistics, this is INnoVation! And at the bottom right, from Splice, this is TY!
And INnoVation does have his socks rolled up. If there's anything I'm certain of, he came to work. You know, he gets a lot of almost kind of, it's not really criticism, but a lot of people like to make the joke, he's a robot, he doesn't show emotion. In StarCraft, boy, does that work to his favor. I mean, he's just so calm, cool, and collected. He plays a great game, but if he doesn't let the nerves get to him or he doesn't really kind of break out of his strengths, why not?
Now, TY is being a cheeky boy here. He's put his his barracks in a little bit of an odd spot. But sorry, I Freudian slipped factory there because there is a fast second gas here from TY. So he's looking to get that 1-on-1 closed out very, very quickly. I think, he could be being cheeky, or he could just be walling off a Reaper path. But I feel like when you do something like this, it's trying to keep your opponent guessing a little bit. Maybe let them sweat in the booth a little bit.
It's a fast second gas for sure. And with his SCV scout, unless he thoroughly scouts the whole base, there is a very good chance he sees this as a very proxy barracks, in which case it could be even multiple proxy barracks, and it could kind of throw INnoVation off his game. But I like this as a little glimpse into the champion level play. So INnoVation pulls in, gets that intel. Does he just leave?
And he
interesting.
does. Wow.
And that's not the worst choice, because sometimes you want to go scout that barracks. If they're floating a factory, you can get underneath it. You can win a game that way. Little does he know, it's going on inside the main base of TY anyways.
That's right. So this is actually a sick mind game from TY. I love this decision.
Yes.
Banking on INnoVation's, the fact that he's not going to scout his whole main, and he's just going to do a regular 1-1-1 build with a fast second gas and 17. That's not uncommon in TVT. While INnoVation is going to be starting to lock things down, get the supply depot down. He's getting his factory. He's going to probably even make a Cyclone that he doesn't want to make. He's got SCVs pulled off the line with the Reaper because he thinks that there's Reapers going to be in the main in his second now.
And it is just a small mind game. But what I like about it from TY is that it's not an investment from him. Like you said, this is a normal strategy anyways. It's just giving a different look by building it there.
That's not normal.
He is going to mix it up a little bit. But I also like from INnoVation, too, that he's not having like a mega epic meltdown on his side of the map. Yes, he pulled a couple SCVs. He started to kind of build a depot there to begin to wall that off if he wants, or spot. But he's not overreacting. So
yeah.
It's a nice move, but, well I say that.
Is he, though?
Is he, though?
The thing is, so he is dropping a bunker, and he may be thinking that TY is metagaming him. He's going for a proxy, and he's just like pulling the Reapers together so that he just goes, surprise, 12 Reapers. But as we can see, it is just a proxy Liberator with TY making his regular sort of Hellion build back at home with the absence of Starport.
I always think it's kind of funny, too, though. It's like TY is doing a fairly normal thing, but he gives him the look that he's proxying and then does actually proxy, so it's a little bit like it can either be really genius or you're actually communicating to your opponent to basically defend something that you then do. So it can get a little bit weird. But the Liberator's a good choice because even if you do have the preparation for it, it can still get damage in there. And that's not a weird passive balance complaint. It's just the kind of fact of how deadly that Liberator can be. Even when you're ready for it, sometimes it gets 5 or 6 SCVs anyways.
Yeah, and INnoVation, after scouting that, Natural's probably going to start to cancel that bunker. In fact, he already has just now. TY's little force going to cancel that CC. Not enough here from INnoVation to hold it. Oh, maybe there is just coming down from the red now. TY sort of second guessing here. Didn't want to lose his units, so he didn't dive hard on that CC there.
geez, that command center was at such low
Yeah.
health. It was actually really interesting because he target fires it at first, and I was like, well, hey, hold that thought. There's that Liberator going to work, and this is a lot of damage. And this is how you hurt INnoVation. Like, he's falling behind, obviously, on the stat line, but this is going to throw him off. He's been pushing across the map. He can't mine from his main.
Now, TY has a tank coming out now, but there are multiple Cyclones pushing back from INnoVation. Is he going to go for the attack? It may be. He's got all the SCVs are off the line here. Oh, no. Oh. Just gets through that liberation zone.
Not impressive. It really isn't. So they're going to do this dance for a long while. Here comes the push from INnoVation.
And he has a tank. See you later. Get out of here. He's going to try and drop in that tank and pick it off.
He does get the Liberator, but look at the supply. The damage has been felt. The Natural was able to resume, but 10 SCVs go down in this push. So far, not accomplishing much. It's going to try to make its way in here into the main base. But even what comes out, yeah, okay, pick off a couple Marines. Can he get it done here, though?
Tank just popped out of his factory and will be more than happy to go toe-to-toe with a single Cyclone, but it does pick up and does get out of there. And yeah, INnoVation just took a ton of damage from that Liberator, did not expect that at all, and TY lifts up his starport, sends it back home. Beautiful start for TY.
You know, it's funny because, again, like you said earlier, we have the vision of everything, but poor TY actually went with a Viking. He played very defensively after that. If he would have just kept streaming out Liberators, he might have been able to end the game, but that's neither here nor there. This drop's going to come back into TY's back mineral line, picking up a couple SCVs.
Nice. Very nice move from INnoVation, trying to equalize the econ damage that he had to receive from TY here. So far doing a pretty good job on it. I mean, TY is still up, but not by that much anymore. Losing 4 SCVs.
Going into the main base is TY, trying to find something. It's going to get pushed back by the forces there, but it's actually kind of good news because he goes to the Natural and doesn't see much there. And now, INnoVation getting some actual damage done here on TY at that mineral line, but it could cost him all his forces. I believe that Viking was able to kill the medevac.
It looks like the medevac did go down there, well spotted, and obviously the rest of the forces get cleaned up by TY, losing 7 SCVs in total, but he has found a very horrible spot to put his siege tank in and using those Marines and medevac for high ground vision. INnoVation has to deal with this, or he's denied mining from several patches.
It looks like he's going to circle around. Here comes the Raven, maybe to lead the charge. It does jump in there, drops the auto turret. It's just a single tank, but he's going to be able to pick it up and boost out of there.
Beautiful.
A little bit of damage going the way of INnoVation, and TY able to evacuate the forces. I love this so far, Maynard. He was able to kind of mix it up, play a little bit of the mind games, score some nice victories, and defend really well. He's in a fantastic position.
He is indeed, and he's got a third CC quicker than INnoVation as well after opening so aggressively. So obviously the opening very, very nice for him, and he's not done yet. He hasn't actually stopped attacking INnoVation. He just keeps sending units across the map. He had him in a dropship, he had it with a Liberator, and now ground force with medevac support looking to get that position back at the back of the Natural.
And here comes TY. That spot again, it's been just kind of the place to go ahead and fight here, but with the 2 tanks on the low ground and not much on the high ground for INnoVation, I don't know what he's going to be able to do here. He's going to take more damage at this Natural. The Viking going to kind of go up there to assist the Marines. And INnoVation's just circling around. I think he might have energy for an auto turret, but there's still enough Marines there to shoot that down as well.
He has 1 auto turret per Raven here, and he's going to come down and try and burst this down, but that Viking's actually making things very awkward for these Ravens here. Well, that auto turret's out of range. It's just dealing with the Marines at least, and pushing back the Viking.
Forcing errors on INnoVation. INnoVation's going to try to dislodge this, but the tanks are so good. GG's called out, and TY is able to strike back. Well done.
The harassment play, death by 1,000 cuts from TY, and he shows that INnoVation can bleed in TVT. And I'm starting to feel it. A little bit of that magic. Hopefully out there in the crowd and watching from home, you guys are feeling it too.
Yeah, people starting to believe, including TY. You know what? I gotta say, I love that he came back in game 2 and said, I'm gonna mix things up. I'm gonna give him a different look. This is not some kind of crazy, pocket strategy that we've never seen before. Proxy Liberator is a thing. Building your base that way is a thing, but give INnoVation those different looks. Make him second guess, make him begin to question his decisions, and all of a sudden you can start to throw wrenches in that macro monster that he is. And TY, by the way he got here, the way he qualified, it wasn't off his passive play, it wasn't off of his just macro mechanics, it was being an incredible harass god, having the great micro in execution, and I love seeing that there, Maynard.
And Game 2 certainly showed us that, why he is here, and he deserves to be here. Currently tied up against the tournament favorite. And the next map is going to be Mech Depot, one of my most hated maps in the pool, but really, really good for TVT, all things considered. So I am looking forward to this one for both these players. For some reason, even though I have my reservations to Mech Depot, it keeps giving me brilliant games at a high level. Like all the pro games I see in GSL, WCS Challenger, Mech Depot has been pretty amazing.
It's almost always the way it is, though, isn't it? Like that map that the players are a little bit questioning, and even the commentators can kind of feel their pain. Sometimes it ends up being the best gridiron because the weird maps create great games. It's just the way it is. So here we are, INnoVation versus TY in the final StarCraft 2 best of 5 to round out day 1 here. Both these guys really want it. TY talking about in his signature series, this being maybe the thing that caps off his entire career. And INnoVation looking like a guy that just wants you to know he's the best there ever was.
If TY can get through this guy, he has a chance. To the top right, this is Ballistics INnoVation! And in the bottom left from Splice, this is TY!
So Maynard, talk to me a little bit about what makes this map kind of weird or frustrating for TVT.
All right, for TVT, mostly it's fine. I find that in TVZ, though, in a TVP, there's a big open map once the rocks go down, and obviously there's a lack of a choice of third as well. Like, you can technically drop your third to the very left of the main that we're seeing now for TY, or to the very right, sorry, but it's so hard to defend. The walk down from the ramp is tough. It's not an amazing Reaper map, so it's a little bit tough to scout on the, via the low ground. So it's just a couple of those things in the map versus the other maps in the map pool make it a little bit tricky.
And it's a very droppable map too, I find.
Yeah,
like
huge
a lot
main.
of times you expand up, down. I mean, in the other matchups like you were talking about, you can kind of expand towards your opponent, take that kind of more middle base with the rocks next to it. And that one, it's more defensible and kind of gets you into the aggression of the mid game. But a lot of times too, you can just be expanding up and down. All of a sudden, 5-6 medevacs show up. They're on top of your production. Game over. Now that can happen anywhere, but on a map like this that kind of spreads you out and has those big chasms and those big cliffs, it kind of happens more often.
Yeah, good luck, have fun getting a turret ring that protects your main on Mech Depot. So we see both players going for similar openings again. INnoVation with a slightly quicker expand. So TY is dropping his a little bit forward there, but both going for Reaper expand. So not really anything to talk about in that sense. Obviously, if two Terrans are facing each other, Reaper expand is fine. But if you're up against other races, the Reaper can be very easily dealt with.
You know, it's a little bit late to be saying this, but I got to say, my wish for this game number 3 here is TY continues to be weird. Like, those bumper stickers in Austin or Portland. Keep Portland weird. Keep TY weird. I feel like if he just follows this up with a straight-up macro game and says, all right, INnoVation, see you in 25 minutes, I feel like the very bland answer there is INnoVation shows up with 30 to 40 supply more and just kind of mauls them. And it's weird to talk about because it's not like TY's bad at macro. It's just literally INnoVation is the best, maybe ever. And that's like a really weird thing to say in StarCraft, but it very well could be true.
At this point in the game, I would say that INnoVation is the best macro player and also the best micro player and also the best reactionary player. That's why people are saying he's the best. But that doesn't mean he's going to win this series. A lot of times that, you can get a fast one pulled over your eyes and then all of a sudden you've lost and you're eliminated. We see that INnoVation is going for that quick third CC again. And TY is going for a Hellion opening here. This is sort of similar to how he opened against Special.
And it is kind of one of the agreed upon TVT openings. It's not to say that it can't get work done, especially against a fast third orbital like this. You are going to be facing less forces. They probably are going to be Marines. So if you can get the kind of right 3 or 4 Hellions to hit the right 3 or 4 Marines at a time, all of a sudden you're talking about some pretty massive damage. And it is going to be TY that's going to be able to press across the map, and kind of feel out what's happening here as well. So this opening, if you're a TY fan or just a fan of more games of StarCraft, is a good one. But wow, we don't mind.
Yeah, so saw that in the production tab there after the first Hellion, which is crazy. You see your barracks with a reactor next to a factory, like, okay, Hellion opening with Starport units to help out. Probably a Raven or maybe a Banshee, but as it stands, he's going for a pretty quick Widowmine drop with Marines to help out.
My gut instinct whenever I see that is to like second guess it. I don't like it. I just kind of inherently don't. But the reason why a Widowmine is pretty much always pretty incredible is because it just has that ability to be like, whoops, you misclicked, 10 SCVs dead, game over. It just has the ability to do that for a relatively low cost too. Like the Widowmine is inexpensive. It doesn't soak up a lot of supply. It's easily and quickly made. So a nice little poke here from TY. Maybe a cheeky mistake from INnoVation.
Yeah, he has a lot of Marines once again, as you'd expect with all this barracks production, and a very quick engineering bay for +1. Gets rid of that Reaper. The Marines are out of position here for the Widowmine. It will burrow.
Yeah, and see, this is kind of what concerns me. He's going to go ahead and pick it up, though. Did he notice? There's a lot of SCVs stacked up over here, but just the focus fire getting, I believe that was a Marine even. He's going to come back over here and try to drop on top of these forces, gets a little bit more work done, but then dies for free. And then I have to ask myself, did that really accomplish that much? I mean, you look at the stat line kind of down there, he's slightly ahead in supply, slightly behind in workers, so not the biggest of deals, but not super amazing either.
And he's actually, like, his worker deficit, I feel, is going to get bigger and bigger now that that third is done for INnoVation. He's producing 3 SCVs at a time. TY, though, going to put the aggressive pants back on, one leg at a time, get across through the middle of the map here with a tank to help out. And obviously the medevac is going to make things pretty nice for Marine versus Marine battle as well.
I feel like I'm just conditioned mentally. Every time I see a tank, I'm like, ooh, I like that choice, yes.
Tanks are pretty cool.
They're pretty cool.
I'm with you on that one.
Double tank even, some Marines here, so maybe some low ground. This is the, if you will, the scary part of going third orbital is how does he deal with this? That first Marine's going to siege up, second one's crawling up to the high ground. TY being so aggressive, there's just not a lot of forces.
This tank is right up in INnoVation's grill here, and he doesn't have Stim just yet, just now finishing, and double medevac on the way now for him. But even Stim Marines on their own, there are 2 tanks here leapfrogged. With Marines, if they can get in front, maybe they can hold.
And here we go, the Stim Marine's going to go ahead and kite forward. They get the first tank, they're going after the second tank. They will get that, but there's still some Marines on the high ground. Medevac's low in health, but they are able to get out of there, and TY secures for himself a slight SCV advantage.
Beautiful move there from TY. That econ advantage of INnoVation's fast third C erased by TY's push there. He did lose 2 tanks, he did lose a handful of Marines. Obviously, he didn't have Stim versus INnoVation, but it still was a nice move there to reset the board.
I mean, in TVT, things are going to die. That's, you know, that's what I've grown to really love about TVT. It's just a bloody, explosive matchup. I looked at that and thought TY might just win the game right there. The Marines in a good position, double medevacs, he had 2 tanks, but INnoVation with a great patience, by the way. He had to pull some SCVs, he waited for Stim to finish. Those are the choices that, sure, when we talk about it, it's like, yeah, okay, in control, of course you do that, but you try doing it with all this on the line. It's a very difficult thing to do, and INnoVation executing at a high level.
Now, this is the weakness of this taking the third in this location may come into play here as INnoVation boosts across with 16 Stim Marines. TY doesn't have Stim yet, so it's pretty hard for him to pick up these medevacs, but INnoVation does unload, doesn't want to take that chance.
And a nice kind of fanned out defense here from TY, able to go ahead and splatter those Marines a little bit. Not able to pursue, like Maynard said, there's no Stim. If there was Stim here, this would be a bigger threat, but TY shadow boxing that army and just saying, no sir, I'm gonna have this third, you're not coming in here, not yet.
He doesn't have Stim, but his medevacs still do, so that's fine. He gets to boost in front of the medevac of INnoVation and intercept there. He's using one of his own medevacs to spot as well. Nice little move there from TY. Very, very cold, calculated play, and he's got that center tower down as well. He's like, Mech Depot, I can be dropped so hard and just lose the game straight up. And also, with this armory, I'm feeling very good about TY's upgrades getting ahead of INnoVation and staying that way. With INnoVation, you know, even though he got his upgrades a lot earlier, he hasn't been keeping up with it. He doesn't even have a second engineering bay. We just saw it getting placed there now.
There will be gaps in time where it's going to be TY with that pretty significant advantage. And for a lot of army compositions, that doesn't end up being the biggest of deals. But in Marines, it's a huge deal. We're talking about some of the highest DPS or damage per second in the game. They can do just a lot of damage very quickly. And I'm just liking TY so far. He's just made the right choices. He's come back into this. I mean, when you lose that first game at a best of 5, we talked about how a best of 5 can be kind of long. It's really not. And a lot of players can come unraveled, but TY showing up and wants to go blow for blow here.
Absolutely. INnoVation trying to take the map away from TY. He's doing a pretty good job with map control, actually. If you look at the minimap, there are just blue blips everywhere, trying to keep an eye on TY and make sure that he isn't trying to sneak a fast one past him. Meanwhile, a single Marine gets 2 SCV kills, so it didn't actually work out for INnoVation that one time.
Man, it's been a while since we've seen that thing happen where, like, the one scouting thing just kills an entire mineral line. Always kind of makes me worried for these big matches, but a cheeky little drop here, scans forward, and I love this. I mean, TY constantly, both players are, to be honest, sending out individual Marines to kind of see what's going on, but there's a counterattack. The Marines come in, the soft underbelly of this third base, just guarded by a single tank, and then the positioning gets called out here a little bit. Some Marines bleed forward, and just a lot of damage being dealt by INnoVation all of a sudden.
Beautiful positional play from INnoVation, and he can go into the main as well with his units. Missile turret touching up one of those medevacs. TY has production to be able to defend, but he has such a long walk to get back into this main. Oh, the Marines have the park it here at the third mineral line as well. Just looks like he's picking up the reactors. They are low hit point, good targets, and he gets out of there with most of his units.
Just getting in, doing that one-way damage, and attacking from multi-angles, by the way. INnoVation, again, it's not like this guy's got bad control, but that's just not what he's known for, yet he just executed a multi-prong attack brilliantly. Now, TY reacted pretty okay. So again, looking down at kind of the supply in terms of army and workers. Yes, he's behind, but he's not out just yet. The problem is, INnoVation has this like passive pressure of like, if you're behind over time, you're gonna fall more behind. So what does TY do to get back into this?
He's getting further ahead by having a 4th CC. It's going down right now.
Okay.
Whereas INnoVation still chilling on 3 bases, relying on his production on 3 bases to try and get the job done here. That means that later the game goes, it is actually going to help TY unless INnoVation starts doing damage.
All right, the sensor tower does pick up on this force moving up on the left side over here. But I feel like it's just a positional thing. There's a couple of tanks behind, just wants him to come over and say, hey, look at me, I'm over here. Meanwhile, on the right side of the map, a huge force of Marines going to jump on top of these tanks too.
They certainly will, and the 3rd CC is in a bit of danger here. He needs to repair that. Oh, that's the DPS of these Marines may be too much. TY pounces on top. Does he save the 3rd? It looks like he may. He's fanning out here. The SCV's being pulled to help out, and he is going to deflect INnoVation, saving the 3rd CC.
Able to save that 3rd CC, but does lose a lot of forces there, and it costs him a lot. INnoVation kind of leapfrogs and supply just a little bit there, but a good defense from TY. A lot of players, I mean, he took the bait, he went to the left side, but as you said, Maynard, he very realistically could have lost that orbital as well, and then that advantage you talked about, it's out the window, so then it's like a slight upgrade advantage, maybe. Otherwise, TY still here, still fighting, and still living.
TY's trying to get that 3-3 upgrade going down now. So INnoVation can afford it. TY not quite right now. And I mean, both players are just spinning around on the minimap here, trying to find a position that they can abuse, trying to catch their opponent and doing a good enough job of it. They're pushing towards the 3rd CC now is TY. His forces don't look that high enough in number to try and crack this though.
It's interesting, yeah, because I agree with you. Like, getting through this choke area is impossible, I feel like. It's just about baiting into each other's tank line, and both players, they're walking so close to it. But I do like the couple of Vikings from INnoVation. They can push the medevac. Actually, they both have Vikings. I didn't see that over there for TY. Push back the medevacs, but also spot for those tanks. So both players seeing, okay, we were in position there equally, and now going to kind of poke and discover this 4th base. And all of a sudden, it is going to be INnoVation that needs to react to these multi-prong attacks, which is a response from TY. I love that.
Yeah, nice little moves from both players, actually. A loving game number 3 here. Very close, very back and forth. INnoVation coming up here to deal with this medevac. The Vikings will do a good job with that, though. The Marines are going to get through the medevac to the hiking count. Actually, this might actually trigger TY to start pumping out a lot more Vikings to get that air control. But as it stands, all that thought, going straight for the space before the planetary finishes morphing. INnoVation completely out of position. Will it go down? Yes, it will. Huge pick up there for TY.
And that's that positional advantage we were talking about. He tries to boost up and get into the main base, a problem with this map you were talking about earlier. But INnoVation just so out of position, he's not able to get any kind of return fire there. So it's going to be him that suffers that penalty. And TY moving over to secure and say, okay, I do have 4 bases. I do have perhaps the bigger army. And now positionally, it's up to INnoVation to do something. We talked about how he can just kind of flow forward with macro. He can just have the bigger army. Well, if you do enough to kind of chop him at the knees like this, he's not going to be able to make him magically.
Game is not over yet. TY's been doing a really good job, but it is not over yet. INnoVation, with one good engagement, can reset things here. TY's going to knock down these rocks. And that's I think that's the main being floated over here for INnoVation. Yes, it is. So doesn't want to lose that. We've got a big steam and throw it.
Whoa.
TY unsieged.
Okay, both players, that one tank a little bit too far forward, and it's going to be established base here from INnoVation. Still trailing in supply, and now on the right side, TY is working on something nefarious, but that sensor tower picks up on this. INnoVation's going to move in and block.
Oh, I think this might be a 1-2 punch here. TY is loading up and going for the main base. No sensor tower there from earlier. Remember, it got picked off. He's trying to pull INnoVation attention down to the 3rd base while going for the main. There's some Marines, but are they looking?
Can you? He's going to go for it. There's just not enough Marines or medevacs there for INnoVation, so TY is able to muscle his way through this. He's on top of production. Here comes everything, but it's a choke point, and this is such a deadly spot. TY might have just dealt a lethal blow.
This might be it in control. I completely agree with you. All of the production getting so low in hit points here. INnoVation against the ropes. He has his army down here trying to protect the main that's been floated out. He's between a rock and a hard place. Look, 2 barracks are dead, factory's dead, and INnoVation needs to end the game now.
And meanwhile, he's pulled back forces to try to answer for that just huge blow that's been dealt to his production. Here we go, he's going to surge forward. He's going to clean it up, but at what cost? As every commentator ever. Here comes a spread of Marines. If this base goes down, I cannot see INnoVation getting out of this.
I think that's it. GG! And TY is match point against the greatest player in StarCraft 2. Is this his moment? I'm feeling it in control.
Oh, man.
I'm feeling it, man.
INnoVation looks like a little stunned. I mean, to be fair, he looks like that after every game, but he's going to need to process this. TY looked to be on his kind of his back feet on that in the first game. It wasn't impressive. He got put down pretty easily. Comes back game 2, mixes up the strategy. Game 3, a slight mix-up, but to be honest, he just kind of outplayed INnoVation, something we didn't even talk about as a super big possibility. What a TVT series, and all of a sudden, we could be going to the semifinals without INnoVation, something that I don't think many people predicted.
Not many people at all. I mean, that is a world that I didn't think we would be living in, but it is starting to look more and more believable as we get further in the series. Game 4 going to start pretty shortly here. Will INnoVation tie it up and bring it to the ace match, or will TY clean him out 3-1? Interloper is our next battlefield between these two titans.
Well, before we get into that next game, guys, we're going to take a quick break just to give these guys a minute to catch their breath and prepare to do battle. So we'll go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, the rest of the series. We'll see you guys soon.
The 2017 StarCraft II World Championship Series Global Finals are brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Intel, T-Mobile, and NVIDIA.
G'day guys, welcome back. And we are going to close out this series. Can it be tied up, or will TY go the whole distance and upset everyone's predictions here on the big stage for BlizzCon? These global finals are heating up, and this Terran versus Terran is really delivering in control.
It really is. That last game was just phenomenal. I love the back and forth between them. And I like the result, to be honest with you. I like when there's upsets and there's shake-ups, and that's what we had there. TY, a very, very good player, but INnoVation's been the kind of showstopper, the one that gets all the headlines.
He does indeed, and a lot of it's well-deserved, but TY setting to remind everyone that he is still a contender. He is he's won hundreds of thousands of dollars this year, and he would surely be happy to round out his year with a BlizzCon victory, but he's got a lot of mountains to climb, and this is the first one here. But being on match point, and people like me and a bunch of the fans out there of TY getting hyped, starting to feel like the energy channeling may actually be paying off here as we get into the next map. It is going to be Interloper, and let's do it. In the bottom right, from Ballistics, this is INnoVation! And in the top left, currently on match point, can he do it? This is Splice TY! You know what I want in control? I want my portrait in game beautifully designed just like that, so that I can make a clan Maynard and just have my face spinning around next to my CC like these cool kids do. I want it. Might be a mic issue there for in control, but we have got INnoVation going for a pretty regular opening here. Single gas with the racks, both players doing the exact same thing. So could be Marine first. We've seen it a little bit before. We've seen the Marine opening versus Reaper opening before, but you know, small differences could come through as the game opens. So Interloper, one of those maps very, very similar to Abyssal Reef. A lot of the architecture goes around choke points. There's a lot of avenues of attack. The main is quite large, not as large as Mech Depot, obviously, but you know, a lot of choke points within it. A lot of counterattacks generally get thrown through as well, and there's that small difference. Marine opening versus Reaper. He does indeed, sees the CC being dropped here. TY is the kind of guy that doesn't really want to mess around and do that SCV back and forth with his CCs. He'll just drop it off location, float it over later. Sure, he loses a second or two of mining, but no big deal because he just floats that on over. It's the power of Terran, and he is gearing up for his 1-1-1. Both players doing it, in fact. Both factories getting dropped. Extra gas is being taken for INnoVation, so he's going to have that starport a little bit quicker. TY is dropping his a little bit later. But everything very, very normal for the most part. A little bit of a Reaper scuffle here. The Reaper of INnoVation nearly taking out the Reaper of TY and is going to delay the CC by the looks of things. Nice little pick off there. All right, Reaper getting into the main here, seeing what's up for TY's production. Single Reaper of TY does live and does bully back INnoVation here as the CC goes down unadulterated. TY not obviously managing to pick off the SCV building the CC or anything like that. And they are rounding out their 1-1-1s as expected. We actually have a Widowmine drop once again coming out for TY. No huge surprise there as he did actually manage to do a ton of damage. Not a ton of damage, but really upset the opening of INnoVation. He expects this to do something very, very similar here. Will it though? We will find out as time goes forward.
Yeah, thank you, Maynard. It looks like this game might end up being a little bit more on the standard side here as both players are trying to figure kind of each other out and where they're going with this. And that's kind of worked for TY. We were kind of talking about how he had to really mix it up, but that last game he just kind of outplayed INnoVation.
Indeed. Single Reaper of TY still alive. He's making Cyclones. This could be defensive, could be to get across the map. INnoVation locking things down, going for the rocks here to try and wall off that natural. Single Reaper sees that. Cyclone bullies it back, obviously not going to win that battle. And we see, again, just like the last couple of games.
I'm back from the future.
Welcome back.
Do you want to know who wins the series?
You tell me.
I can't tell you. We're gonna let it play out. But I'm back. So I was actually in a different time and space.
Well, just rounding out, before you take over the cast and solo cast for the rest of it, just to be fair, we actually see that there was once again for INnoVation, just like a Mech Depot, getting the fast +1 attack and also stim, his bio upgrades being prioritized over anything else here.
All right, this Cyclone going to try to push off that right side attack, and again, it's going to be that Widow Mine, which didn't accomplish much. It gets focused down and dies almost immediately and pushed away. And I want to be like, man, that was really not good. I just time traveled again, you guys. I'm gonna stay here though, I promise. But
INnoVation, your time machine is loud, buddy.
Look at TY mixing it up. So last time he pushed with tanks to try and get some kind of damage on INnoVation. This time it's going to be Cyclones, and he does still have the medevac. The anti-air options are like other Cyclones, which are not the most amazing anti-air. So can he juggle this? Can he juggle his way to victory?
Yeah, he's going for it in the natural here. Double Cyclones versus just the one of INnoVation. Oh, that Cyclone gets really, really low. SCV's being pulled to try and repair. No, the Marines are actually just getting in front of it. Cyclone will be picked off here. And TY, right on the work alliance, definitely going to get some handful of SCV kills.
He's getting a lot of damage done. There's going to be this Marine kind of flank over there. The medevacs are going to make this a secured advantage and a win. But SCV's getting focused down beautifully by TY there. 10 SCVs in total. And we talked about this. If you want to trip up INnoVation, you got to get at his favorite guys, those SCVs early and often. And now even poking forward, trying to get him just kind of react, hey, look at me a little bit. As long as he doesn't lose the medevac, it's cool. If he loses the medevac, it becomes the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
As it stands, TY looking pretty smart and pretty handsome up there on stage with a nice little worker lead and a pretty nice defender's point as well. But we have that double medevac here for INnoVation.
Okay.
Actually, yes, the medevac dies. He sees it coming, though, and he has a tank on the way.
That's actually a big deal, and a great point there, Maynard. If that drop just lands and he doesn't see it and he's just doing something else, that can actually end the game. But here comes these Marines, and they're coming at an off angle, like who drops in front of a base, but he's going to do it. He gets to pick off the SCV making that bunker. He gets to the bottom of the ramp, and he's going to be able to secure a huge position. SCV's being pulled, but that's just it. INnoVation just wins. We're going to game 5.
All right, ace match hype here on the main stage. INnoVation just hitting him with 60 Marines with stim. TY not able to have the units. It just seemed like there was a few seconds window there. If the tank was out, if the bunker was finished, would have been a completely different story. But INnoVation picking a beautiful window and getting himself a game 5 out of TY. Oh man, who would have thought this one would go all the way down to the wire? Everyone's saying, yeah, 3-0, INnoVation's just too strong right now. TY too weak in this matchup. This one's going to deliver.
This game 5 is going to be interesting, though, because it has been a back and forth. Like, I feel like the game before this one was where they were both playing pretty darn good, but otherwise it's been like one guy shining, the other guy kind of collapsing. Game 5, something's got to give. And if you would have told me that this was going to game 5 before, I would have said, wow, that's really weird, but INnoVation surely will secure it. Now I don't know. TY has been showing some flair. I do have to say, and again, I'm going to put my monocle on. I'm going to have my armchair quarterback situation here. Those are the socks I'm wearing. I feel like this was the game he could have tried something a bit weirder. He kind of went again with the Widowmine drop in the same kind of, it wasn't a tank push this time, but it was a, it was the similar kind of push. I wanted him to mix it up a bit more, but you know what? He's there fighting for millions of dollars, and I'm talking from the future.
You are. You travel back and forward through the future there. And we are going into game 5, which will be on Abyssal Reef, the only map remaining here. And similar architecture to Interloper, maybe similar openings here, but there is a lot more high ground, low ground, and areas to abuse with siege tanks. And that'd be pretty cool to see with both players try and go for something like that. And we got a little bit of delay before the game starts, but they're not too far away. Cannot wait to see how this series rounds out. Like you said, I was sure before it started, and like everyone else, I can't predict this anymore. I have no idea. I have no idea.
And that's what's so fun about this too. Like sometimes StarCraft 2, and especially more so in the past, I would say, has been like deterministic. And certainly there's been big upsets. So we've heard commentators be like, oh, this guy's going to beat that guy so easy. And then, of course, we've been wrong before. But sometimes there are just these lopsided matchups. We've been really lucky so far. We've had a lot of great series. Even some of the ones that score-wise were lopsided, the games were pretty darn good. And this one is no different. TVT, I know, is not everyone's favorite. I got to be honest, though. I feel like it gets kind of a bad rap from almost early StarCraft 2 because lately it's just been that, just high-octane things exploding everywhere and really cool decision-making.
There was an era not too long ago where TVT was very cheesy. There were lots of proxies. It was a little bit of a, hard to get excited about this matchup. But right now, it is absolutely 100% my favorite mirror matchup. It's so positional, it's so strategic, it's wonderful. And let's get into game number 5, guys. In the top left here, if this is your favorite player, it is your last chance to make some noise to make it good. This is Ballistics INnoVation! Likewise, in the bottom right here, for the Splice player, this is TY!
All right, Maynard, we get it. For the remake of Braveheart, you want to be a part of it. I understand.
I'm already in talks for Spielberg. I just got to work on the upper body a little bit before I paint it all.
Not a bad reboot, that would be.
It would be pretty good.
Be okay with it.
I got to work on the torso a bit. You know, looking at my boy Chris Hemsworth, a lovely movie that he just released.
Yeah.
Trying to chisel my body a little bit like that, so that when I plate half of it blue, I look fantastic.
You're
on top
almost
of that
there.
horse.
You're like 2 crunches away from it, I'm pretty sure.
2 crunches, that's right, and maybe 1 less pasta dinner.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to go to a pretty big map here. Abyssal Reef is actually one of the more standard maps. A lot of times these players play the majority of their games on a map like this. So if there is some familiarity to be had, it would be on a map like this. And I love it for Game 5. And I want to see where we go. INnoVation has not rocked the boat at all. He's gone either, third CC or otherwise a very standard opening, but something of that kind of ilk. Meanwhile, TY has mixed it up a little bit, but not going too far off course either, by the way, which is pretty normal for him, I would say. He is not going to be your Gumio. He's not some of these other guys that takes bigger risks or plays a little bit more off-brand. He just likes to mix it up a bit more than INnoVation. But to be fair, INnoVation doesn't mix it up almost at all.
He's been opening very aggressively for the most part in this series, and it either works or it doesn't. And sometimes, even if he gets the lead in the early game, just like we saw in Interloper, literally the last map, he gets that early game lead, and INnoVation will punish him for it. So it's a delicate balance, and it's very, very interesting to watch it go down. Reaper opening for both players this time. Ooh. Actually, extremely mirrored openings here for both players, as INnoVation and TY are just playing, as you would say, the gentleman's agreement here, a regular Reaper expand.
Which in kind of a funny way is a bit of a mix-up from INnoVation so far. This is, it's just the one gas, so, well, there's the second gas going down now. So it could end up being something pretty aggressive, but I'm anticipating that his favorable opening here would be to receive the aggression, repel it, with a favorable position, and then go into the mid-game from there. I would be very surprised, and I would love it, if INnoVation was like, nope, I'm coming at you aggressively. Let's see how you handle this pressure.
And he's done it so well before, so I could not be too surprised if he decides to go down that option. INnoVation just using his Reaper defensively, by the way. Yeah. Even at that home, using that high ground, so in case the Reaper rolls up, he definitely is going to win that Reaper war, or at least deflect him. Yeah, TY doing the same thing. I feel like when you open a single Reaper, it's kind of the best option, When there was a double Reaper opening that was a lot more, favorable and in fashion for a while, but it's good to just chill and get that build rounded out, which both players are doing.
Mirror matchup. Mirror builds.
That's right.
Both Reapers fulfilling a similar role. I agree with your analysis on it, but it is funny to see that it's just being so exact right down the line when both these players are backed up against the wall. And the money doubles from here for the most part, guys. I mean, they've already earned a small fortune, but each win is just monumental. It becomes the biggest prize pool winning of the year for them. And like the guys on the couch were talking about, INnoVation and even TY, they're closing in on a $700,000 a year if they get high enough in this tournament, which is pretty incredible. So just keep that in mind. The pressure is on for these guys.
Absolutely. This map is coming down to the last map, Game 5. This one will decide who moves on and who goes home.
Whoa.
And a little bit of move here in the main, but so many Marines from TY. If anything, I mean, yes, he loses the Reaper, but he does at least see the Winter Mine and the Bowler Marine, so that's a good tell for INnoVation.
And it's going to be the same kind of opening from TY, and I got to say, in both the games he did this, it just didn't do much. The follow-up 2 games ago was where some of the damage was felt, and that certainly is a real thing. You can follow it up with this. I guess to give it some love, what I like about it is it's a bit of a Swiss Army knife. What comes behind this is not determined. By going Widowmine Marine drop, you are not pigeonholed into doing only one thing. He can do anything behind it.
Actually, INnoVation has a Cyclone in position here.
Yeah, but just a Cyclone. Well, if he focuses down the Widowmine, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it exists for. Can do pretty well against Marines as well. He's got... Oh, it's a shock! Oh, he's got
Don't be alarmed.
He's got a Viking here. Don't worry, we're on the other side of the glass. Whoa! The medevac getting quite low here. Viking doing a little bit of damage. Marines targeting down that Widowmine, and also a couple of Marines downloaded there from TY.
And then there's just no follow-up behind this. A couple of tanks are being made, some stim. I don't mean to hate on this too much. I think it's a weird thing to go to 3 games in a row and have all 3 of the games it not achieve much. I mean, if you're at home on Twitter and you're a 1400 MMR Terran, and you're just like, Jeff, it does this, then feel free to yell at me. But for me, for right now, it gets information. It's not a huge commitment. You can see they're still fairly even. It's just kind of weird to keep doing it, I guess.
He's basically lost a Marine or two in a Widowmine.
Yeah.
It's not a massive investment for the information that he got. And there are 2 Marines, a Widowmine, and he's obviously Reaper died a little bit earlier. So, and TY is going into double engineering bay to get his upgrade, so prioritizing bio for a little bit here. INnoVation, once again, with a fast single eBay and faster stim.
That's a comfortable position for him to be in, and he, like I kind of said, I felt like the opening that we were going to see from him is something to receive that pressure and then repel it. What do you see, Maynard?
I'm seeing 2 tanks, I'm seeing a medevac, and I'm seeing a TY that looks like he may want to possibly move across the map again like he did on Mech Depot, but time will tell here. INnoVation, single Cyclones, it's going to peel away these scouting Marines here of TY to give him less and less vision. It looks like TY is actually just going to lock things down this time, play the defensive game.
Yeah, I can kind of see that he's taken the faster third, so I think you might have been right on his inclination and desire to do that, but when he sees that he's saturating and establishing his third earlier, the StarCraft logic is you're about to receive an attack, so go ahead and pull back. I think that's why we saw, I think that was a bunker going down, or maybe a sensor tower. No, it is a bunker.
Yeah, so TY really wanting to lock it down here at the third. Doesn't want to commit too many units to this. INnoVation's going to move out while taking his third in location. So obviously the base is quicker for TY. He does have that econ advantage. He's 55 workers versus 49 of INnoVation. But he is going to have to deal with a pretty large, scary attack here.
And he does spot it. The map vision has been consistently superb from TY. He needs to move his army over there. You see the army. Whoa, what else could it be? What are you doing? You're asleep at the wheel. Here they come. They're going to be able to siege that bunker. Now, he's kind of lucky that he's just sieging the bunker. I guess he doesn't have enough Marines to just, like, just jump all over this. And it's going to allow for TY to get over into position.
Yeah, he's going to get those tanks sieged up in a little bit of concave.
It's a fake.
Oh, he's got that double medevac with the Marines here, and he is going, looking like he wants to go straight for the throat, straight for the main.
Oh my God, he could get the E-Bays. If he gets the E-Bays here, that's really tough. Also, the medevacs might want to try to come in here and drop on top of that. He's gonna come in from this angle. Oh! INnoVation doing a 2-prong attack. There's nowhere safe, and all of a sudden, TY is gonna try to defend the main, but there's not much there. He moves the tanks into position at the natural, but that's not gonna go super well. I don't think they're in the tanks. And so far, target pressure not super amazing. It looks like he is able to clean up the natural.
This 1-2 punch from INnoVation did critical damage to TY. He's lost 40 SCVs and a bunch of his army supply as well. Beautiful play from INnoVation. That strategical decision-making from him has put him in a solid position in this game. If he loses from this point, it would be the biggest upset of the day, and we saw Gumiho versus Suan Interloper.
It would be incredible. Right now, army supply in favor of TY, and that's got to be something he capitalizes on. He just did mostly clean up what was harassing him. Now, if like everything got away and there's 4 medevacs of army out there, TY is pinned. But right now, he does have a moment he can go across the map, and he needs to get something done, Maynard.
Large army supply, but a Terran is hard to kill, even if you're a Terran yourself. He has these siege tanks here and Marines position with lots of medevacs. The Viking's going to be very, very annoying, but INnoVation has a lot of bio here to be able to protect those tanks.
You lose that kind of econ. If TY loses army, it very well could be it. He's just got caught unstimmed, unsieged, but the Marines come in, a huge influx of units. He could chase him up that ramp. He's going to grab the tanks for himself, and TY springs the trap.
TY's concave of Marines giving him a lifeline in this game. He's moving in. He's got that lovely position here at Abyssal Reef where the tanks are starting to move in position. The Marines getting unloaded here in the mineral line. INnoVation against the ropes a little bit here defensively.
INnoVation scores a huge victory in SCV count, but now he's fighting for his life back at his natural. The tank positioning so strong. Dropping on top of that tank, not going to be able to kill it as a huge influx of Marines do come down from there. INnoVation with a slight supply advantage, excuse me, but man, this position is tough.
The advantage that he had is starting to slowly dwindle.
Oh,
that 60's getting really, really low. Oh my God, it dies! Oh my God, this is so huge. TY is in a world of lovely spot here for INnoVation. I have no idea how INnoVation is so low now at this point in the game. He just keeps taking damage from TY every time he goes across the map.
Army supply is still close, but this tank position is so strong. Even from here, he can begin to siege that third base, and just now Combat Shield is, as pointed out for us there, being restarted. INnoVation fighting for his life back there, losing that orbital. If you have more SCVs, that's fine and good, but if you don't have anything to mine from, it's, you know, useless for you. He's going to pick up the army, but it's immediately spotted by these Vikings. They got to be careful. They're going to bleed forward here a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But one bad fight from INnoVation, all of a sudden it's him that dies now.
That's right. Actually, TY can lose a few units here, stand to lose a bit of army supply, but he has to be very, very careful. A counter drop from INnoVation could be actually quite deadly as well. He's positioning his units around here, possibly looking to try and do exactly that.
You got to keep in mind, he needs to be able to see that high ground. So he's got the Vikings kind of on patrol and the medevacs over there. He does spot this huge force of Marines. Trying to free up some positioning, INnoVation might be doing here, by the way. He can kind of pick up and go to the middle of the map and cut off reinforcements, or he can get flanked there by the Marines, poking from TY. TY leaving that force back at home as well, by the way, is a really cool move, because he's threatening so much, but a counterattack could just end the game.
Looks like that force is actually coming through the middle of the map here to try and reinforce with the sort of the contain that TY has here. Not only a contain, I can't believe he killed the orbital. Like, it's incredible to me that that orbital is dead.
And now it's TY with a huge supply advantage. I mean, I don't even disagree with you. You were like, how does he come back from this?
Well,
but then like
the
2
orbital.
seconds later, he's able to. He could jump on top of these tanks, so they were left by themselves. All the tanks go down essentially for free. Well, excuse me, 15 SCVs actually died doing that. But now with a pretty good concave of his own, the fight's going to happen here.
It sure is. Upgrade's not going to play a battle in this one, but the tanks certainly are. Mincing through the Marine count. The tanks of INnoVation out of range in this battle here.
Vikings of INnoVation, though, do pose a threat. He actually kind of backed up, and I almost would have liked to have seen him poke a little bit further forward. But it is going to be TY that's a little bit uncomfortable with pushing too far there. He's going to go ahead and ball up in the middle of the map with a 27 supply advantage, by the way. And a lot of that is in Army, but also in SCVs. TY flipped this on his head, and it took him about 20 seconds.
And not lifting your orbital is not a good time against those siege tanks. INnoVation against the ropes and finding it hard to get back in the middle of the map here.
Both players just circling around here. The stim from TY is going to be aggressive. He jumps on top of INnoVation. He's going to go ahead and fan out here. Is this a fight that's going to determine the entire series? He just destroys it. INnoVation taps out.
GG! TY has done it, beating the machine, the best player in StarCraft 2, and he is going to move on to the semi-finals against, oh my god, another TVC on the other side of the map. Incredible. Just incredible.
Amazing. They were so back and forth. We were ready to call TY down and out. He loses 40 SCVs. And he trades out for some Marines and a couple of the tanks. He had a slight army supply advantage, but he takes the decisive victory. He plays so well. He takes the great sieging position, and just everything from that moment forward, he was making the great choices. Absolutely beautiful play.
And let's go with our winner, TY, and Smix on the stage.
Wow, congratulations, TY. You are facing a tournament favorite in INnoVation. What is it like to take down a 4-time GSL champion to move on to the semifinal here at the WCS Global Finals? 일단 우승 후보인 이진영 선수를 꺾고 이제 4강 진출을 하셨는데 4번이나 GSL 우승을 한 선수를 꺾고 올라가는 그 기분을 좀 설명해 주세요.
일단 이시영 선수가 저보다 항상 잘한다는 생각을 갖고 있어가지고 좀 도전자의 입장으로 마음 편하게 배운다고 생각을 하고 경기에 임했는데 그게 긴장 해소에 좀 많이 도움이 됐던 것 같아요.
So he says, when it comes to INnoVation, I've always respected him so much and considered him a better player than myself. And so coming into this match, I consider myself sort of the challenger, and I thought this will be a learning experience for me. So in terms of nerves, I think it actually helped a lot because I wasn't as nervous coming into this match. And so I need to talk about that last game because at the beginning when INnoVation came in, it really just seemed like that would be it, that would be game over. How were you able to bring that game back and take home the entire series? 그 마지막 경기에서 경기가 거의 게임 오버인 줄 알았는데 그 상황을 어떻게 극복하고 이길 수 있었나요?
일단 맞고 나서 제가 좀 병력이 많았기 때문에 이 타이밍에 이득을 봐야 된다 생각을 했고 일부러 병력을 좀 일부만 보여줬어요. 상대가 먼저 덮칠 수 있도록. 근데 그게 좀 잘 통해가지고 운 좋게 이길 수 있었던 것 같아요.
So after I barely defended against INnoVation's attack, I did have a lot of army units left over, thankfully. So I think because of that, I was able to win. I purposefully was very careful about how much units I showed, and I think it really played well in the mind games, and that's why I was able to take home that last game and the entire series. And now last but not least, you just took down one tournament favorite in INnoVation, and you're going up against yet another tournament favorite in Rogue in the semifinal. taking down INnoVation, does that give you some extra confidence headed into the semifinal match? 일단 우승 후보인 이신영 선수를 꼭 꺾고 또 다른 우승 후보인 이병렬 선수를 4강에서 만나게 될 건데 그래도 이신영 선수를 이겼으니까 좀 자신감이 더 생기나요?
일단 이신영 선수가 가장 프로게이머 중에서 잘하고 있는 선수고 그 선수를 이겼기 때문에 4강도 힘든 상대지만 충분히 이길 수 있을 거라고 생각하고 있습니다.
So he says, in my opinion, I think INnoVation is the best player in the world. So even though I definitely agree that Rogue is a difficult opponent, I'm pretty sure that I'll also be able to take him down. So congratulations again, TY. He is moving on to the top 4 here at the WCS Global Finals.